Okay. So a fast food restaurant wants to add new menu to their item, whatever the items they are selling, and it requires initial investment of $874,200. There's an investment here. They expect cash flows of this amount for the coming 4 years. The cost of capital is 15%. They're asking, they want to decide based upon the IRR. So what is the IRR rule with respect to cost of capital? Here I have explained. If your cost of capital is 10%, let's say your NPV is 0. Can I say this is your IRR? Hello? Hello? At 10%, your NPV is exactly equal to 0. Can I say this is your IRR?
Yes, yes, sir.
If I take anything beyond this, if I take 15% as my cost of capital, let's say my NPV will be negative. So I shall accept or reject?
Reject.
Reject. So if my IRR is less than cost of capital, reject. But if my cost of capital is 5%, my IRR is 10%, that means at 5% I may get positive NPV. So I shall
Accept it.
accept if IRR is more than cost of capital. Same thing will be happening here. We should find out the IRR. So we have just discussed IRR is present value of cash outflows is equal to present value of cash inflows. Your outflow is very clearly understood, $874,200, and present value of cash inflows, $300,000 is your cash inflows into present value annuity factor at the rate of 15% for 4 years. We have to take, right? It's 14%, 15, what is that?
15%.
15%. That's what we have to take, right? That is your cost of capital, but we are taking into consideration IRR, right? So fast food restaurant should accept or reject the project. So at this accept they are saying, reject they are saying, accept they are saying, reject they are saying. So that means these all are what? IRRs only, right? Because they want to take the decision based on IRR. Yeah. What is the IRR of the new menu item? They're asking what is the IRR, right? So we cannot take 15%. We cannot take 15%. Of course, we have to find out this with every project. So if anything we are taking here, then only if that is IRR, then only we can say these two will be equal, right? So if my cost of capital is 15%, if 37% if I take, what's going to happen? Very high rate, right? Very high rate. So this will give me negative NPV, correct or wrong? Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yes, sir.
If I take 37%, see my cost of capital expected return is 15%. If I take a very high discounting rate, I may get zero, right? I may get negative NPV, right? This is not going
Yes.
to give zero NPV. Reject 9%, reject the project. Let's say if I take 9%, what's going to happen? If I discount my cash flows with 9%, it is very low, right? With respect to 15%. So for this, what we will do is first we'll try to find out the NPV with 15%. Let's understand. I'll take 15% purposefully. Can you just tell me what is the present value annuity factor at the rate of 15%? Can you just check and tell me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Can you hear my voice, Samrin?
Yes, now.
I'm saying, can you find out present value annuity factor at the rate of 15%? From the table, can you tell me the factor?
15%.
Annuity factor for 4 years.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
15% for year one.
4 years. It's a 4-year project, right?
Mm.
See,
That is
years
2.8550.
2.8. Yeah.
550.
Yeah. So 8,74,200 is equal to 300,000. 2.8.
550.
Okay, we can do one thing, right? We can take that as X. Let's say we take that as X, let's say. We will see where it falls. So 874,200 by 300,000 is what? What are you getting?
What?
What are you getting here?
Just a minute. 874. 2.914.
So now what we are going to do is we already know that present value of cash outflow is equal to present value of cash inflow. Present value of cash outflow is this. Present value we are supposed to find, right? So we have the cash flows, future cash flows into, if we do the annuity, then we like, what is going to happen? These two should be equal, right? Correct or wrong?
Yes, right.
But what we have been given 4 options. So what we'll do is I took X because I don't know the exact rate at which these two will be equal. Do I know that?
Mm. No.
Yeah. If I take all the 4 options, it's going to be very time consuming. So I will
Yes.
see this 2.914 falls where actually in annuity table. Just take your annuity
Okay.
table and see in 4 years where this 2.914 falls exactly. 2.914 where it falls in annuity table. 4 years. Just
14 at 14%, sir.
exactly 14%, right? So 3 options I am not going to check because I'm going to eliminate them because I got my answer. It is going to be at 14%, right? So 14%
Right.
is that rate. If I like factor, if I multiply with 3 lakh, what's going to happen? Just do one thing. Just try to see. So 300,000.
8 lakhs 70. Same investment
Yeah. So these are going to
amount
be
is
same,
same.
right? So I got my IRR.
Yes.
I got my
Yeah.
IRR.
IR.
But I shall reject. Why I shall reject? The rule is if your IRR is less than cost of capital, that is
Cost
14%
of
is less
capital.
than 15%. So I'll reject, right? Done. This is my
Yeah.
answer. Next. Weakness of IRR approach for determining the acceptability of investment is that, you should tell me. Implicitly assumes that firm is able to reinvest project cash flows at firm's cost of capital. No. Does not consider the time value
No.
of money. It considers. Not straightforward decision criterion. Is not a straightforward. It's just like many times we take a straightforward decision, right? If IRR
Yes.
is more than cost of capital, we accept the project, right?
Yes.
Implicitly assume that firm is able to reinvest project cash flows at project's IRR. This is not the one, like this is one of the weak statements, right? Because IRR is that rate at which your NPV is going to be zero, right? So one disadvantage of the method is that inflows from early years are assumed to be reinvested at IRR. This assumption is not a sound assumption. Why? Because
Right.
investment in future may not earn as high a rate as is currently available. That means in the beginning of the periods, you're going to reinvest the money at IRR. But in coming days, do you think at the same rate you're going to get maximum benefits? No. Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello.
If you are going to invest at one constant rate only in the future, do you think rates are going to be constant? Do you think always at one rate, if you're going to get the returns,
No.
it is going to be sufficient for you because of inflation in the future? No, right?
No, sir. It will
So this is an
fluctuate.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. because in future inflation will be there, and at the same rate if we expect always the returns, it's not going to be satisfactory for us. Question number 55. So here there are two mutually exclusive projects. You have to select only one. Both require an initial investment outlay of this much and will operate for 5 years. So project X and project Y, you can see the constant cash flows. You can see all the cash flows zero here, but at the end of the project life, you are getting some cash flow, which is, a high one, right? Cash flows also associated with these projects are as follows. They're asking, corporations required rate of return is 10%. Using NPV method, which one of the following actions would you recommend to corporation? So can you just find out the NPV for both and tell me what's the answer going to be?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, I can directly say, because every year they are getting some very good cash flows, right? It's going to give a higher NPV, right? You can just do, no problem. I'm waiting.
Okay.
We can do and prove, right? So what we can do here, we can take 150,000. We can take 47,000 into present value annuity factor at the rate of cost of capital is 10% at the rate of 10% for 5 years. Can we take this? Yeah, so 47,000. Can you just tell me the annuity factor? And here directly we can 3.791.
791.
What are you going to get if you multiply?
1,78,177.
So this is the end. This is what is the present value of cash inflows. We are going to deduct the outflow. Tell me the NPV here.
28,177. Hello. Hello.
Okay. Yeah. I'm here. In this case, there is no annuity. So 2,80,000 into, you are going to take present value factor. Just present value factor at the rate of 10%. So 2,80,000 into, can you tell me the present value factor at the rate of 10%? I'll tell you 0.621. Okay. Multiply these two and tell me the present value.
1,73,880.
1,73,880. So if you deduct this, what are you going to get? Positive NPV or negative NPV? Difference.
A difference is
Sorry.
23,880.
So which one you're going to accept? Actually, both are positive projects, but this is better, right? Giving higher NPV. So I'll go with this. Okay. So project X should be accepted because it's a mutual exclusive, right? And project Y should be rejected. So option B. You want to note it down? I shall move forward. Hello. Hello. Samrin, you want to note it down or shall I move forward? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear my voice? Hello. Hello. Can you hear my voice? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear my voice, Samrin? Okay, next question. 56.